I'm Spencer Martin in Red Lodge, where community members are working hard together to pick up the pieces after the flooding.
I'm Melanie Willardson in Stillwater County, where damage from the water is everywhere.
I'm DJ Bauer in Butte, where today it's partly cloudy with strong winds.
I'm Madison Atkinson in Livingston, where extreme winds have calmed down for this evening, but it is still extremely overcast and wet throughout the city.
I'm Joey Taylor in Great Falls, where it's extremely windy.
It's 6 o'clock. You're watching Montana Right Now.
You're getting a live look at Red Lodge. This is just some of the devastation plaguing Montana right now as rivers wash away vital bridges and roads to multiple cities and destroy homes. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Angela Marshall. We do have crews stationed across the state to bring you team coverage of these flooding events and how the communities are coping. I want to go ahead and begin tonight by bringing in our meteorologist, Mark Haga. And Mark, we're not just talking about flooding tonight. Parts of Montana are also seeing high winds and mountain snow to the tune of 30 inches in some places.
This is a 1-2-3 punch by Mother Nature here in the northern Rockies and Plains. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, a lot of devastation, of course, with the Yellowstone River. That's been the worst scenario. But from Bozeman, West Yellowstone through Billings to Miles City, we have flood warnings and watches. Also in northwest Montana, including the Flathead. Here are the rivers under warnings, of course, the Yellowstone, the Boulder, Flathead, Gallatin, Stillwater rivers in western and northwestern Montana. And temperatures, folks, we ought to be in the 70s. 43 in Kalispell, 51 Missoula, 50 Great Falls, 62, not quite so bad in Billings, 55 degrees in the Glasgow area. Why is it so cold? Why are we getting heavy snow in the mountains of northwest Montana? Low pressure, Canada, put a counterclockwise circulation around it. We're getting strong westerly winds into Montana. We're getting rain and snow in the west and north central parts of the state. A wedge of drier air into Billings and Red Lodge. That's why we saw some sunshine in that part of the region. Look at this, base of Whitefish Mountain. We are looking at heavy snow. We continue to have a winter storm warning in all of tonight for Glacier National Park. In general, 2 to 6 inches above 5,000, 14 inches above 6. But look at this, 30 inches above 7,000 feet. Kings Hill Pass in central Montana looking at 3 to 7 inches of snow. That's where we have heavy snow right now. Parts of western, northwest Montana and rain. The heaviest rain right now is between Great Falls and Fort Benton. Heavy snow the south side of Glacier Park into the Mission and Swan ranges in northwest Montana. And a high wind event. North Central, Northeast Montana, high wind warnings through tomorrow. Gusts up to 60 and 70 miles per hour, up to 45 miles per hour with an advisory around the Butte area. Current sustained winds, 32 miles per hour, Livingston, 44 in Cutbank. Gusting right now to 59 miles per hour in Cutbank, 37 in Billings. 40 in both Great Falls and also the Helena area. So this is a serious situation. And now I have a heat wave to talk about. I'll have that for you and elaborate a little later in the cast.
And before we get to that heat wave, our flood coverage continues in Gardner, Montana, a popular spot for tourists to stay at the north entrance of Yellowstone. DJ Bauer is in Butte tonight to tell us how people are cooperating to make the best out of the situation.
As extreme flooding continues near Yellowstone, residents of Gardner, Montana are looking for relief, and some tourists have been put in the same boat. One such tourist is Dawson Killen from Texas, who had been stuck in Gardner since Sunday after coming to visit Yellowstone. He recounts sitting and watching helplessly as utility poles, houses, and even pieces of road collapsed down an overflowing river. But in spite of the damage done, Killen felt no fear for his safety, thanks to cooperative efforts from the entire community.
They've been trucking in pallets of water bottles. The restaurants have been great getting food out. The hotels are helpful. The churches are hosting people and giving out meals. I mean, I'm a traveler all the way from Texas. I'm completely alone, but I feel safe and I feel welcome. We're just kind of grateful for the locals and the way they've handled the situation.
Additionally, the Park County Sheriff's Office said earlier today that they've opened the road to Gardner for local traffic and services. Those needing to evacuate can take Highway 89 north to East River Road, meaning tourists like Killen are trapped in Gardner no more. But of course, the Sheriff's Office asks you to use extreme caution when driving. Meanwhile, here in Butte, County Emergency Management Director Jim Merrifield tells me that there is currently no threat to flooding, but they are continuing to monitor the situation. He also recommends visiting waterdata.usgs.gov for up-to-date information. Reporting in Butte, I'm DJ Bauer, Montana Right Now.
As Red Lodge deals with the aftermath of flooding in that area, concerns arose for a popular restaurant that sits right near Rock Creek. Spencer Martin is live in Red Lodge tonight and tells us about one of the ways a local establishment is helping the town. Spencer?
Yeah, you know, for the past 24 hours, all we've really been able to do is just watch the devastation of the flooding, the erosion in Red Lodge. Things like bridges no longer standing. And for those of us who couldn't be here, it made you wonder what is still standing there, what is okay in the sweet town of Red Lodge. And there was some rumors and maybe some speculation about the Red Boxcar, a popular restaurant in town, possibly being washed away. It sits just above us on Rock Creek, right along the water, and police announced that it is still standing and then some. And not only is the boxcar here intact, it's been ready to help the community out. They didn't have power for a while, didn't have water, so the owners made a run to Billings. They got a bunch of supplies and smoked some pulled pork for volunteers helping the town today. They were cooking all night long, and they plan to continue to do so to help feed those working so hard to clean up Red Lodge.
You know, honestly, we just want to do our part. It's not much. Honestly, I think the real credit goes to the volunteers that have been all over town filling up sandbags. The Officer Brown that I ran into at 1 o'clock in the morning last night, you know, him and his family, they lost everything, but yet he's still out on the job. Red Lodge is a tough town, and I think we're going to be fine. There's obviously some setbacks, but we're just trying to do our part. If we can help feed some people, we're going to help feed them. And
now, Adam and his family moved to Red Lodge and bought the boxcar just over a year ago, and they say this instance has happened and seeing all the people, that's one of just many stories of people coming together to lift up this town, and it's just a good reminder to them of why they're so happy that they get to call Red Lodge home. Reporting live from Red Lodge, Spencer Martin, Montana Right Now.
Well, Stillwater County has issued a disaster declaration due to severe flooding, and Melanie Willardson is live. So, Melanie, tell us what you're seeing right now.
I'm standing in Hawkins Park in Absaroka, where you can see the damage from Rosebud Creek behind me. The caretaker for this park tells me those pipes you see in the water used to be part of the sprinkler system. He told me there were big trees lining the bank, completely washed out by the water. We saw damage like this in multiple places throughout Stillwater County. Take a look at this. This bridge was completely washed out just south of Absaroka at Slim's Lane. And I spoke with one woman who told me her mother-in-law had to leave her home after water came right up to the door.
My mother-in-law's house, as you're going up on the left, right before the mine, up by the mine, it sits on the river, but it had about 25 feet from the river. Now the river is right up next to her door.
Jolene's mother-in-law wasn't the only one who had to move because of the flooding. Stillwater County Disaster and Emergency Services told me 68 people and over a dozen dogs had to be rescued from Woodbine Campground last night. We spoke with Jordan Work, who left the campground before having to be rescued. Jordan said a campground official told him to leave, and in just the 45 minutes it took to pack, the water rose drastically.
We started seeing that some of the tables at the campsites were underwater, and you know, that kind of led to a mad scramble to get out of there.
Right now there are multiple road closures in place throughout Stillwater County, including Yellowstone Bridge at Reed Point. A complete list of all of those road closures is available on our website, KULR8.com or MontanaRightNow.com. Reporting live in Stillwater County, I'm Melanie Willardson, Montana Right Now.
And from Stillwater and Carbon counties, we take you back to Park County now, where the extreme flooding has washed out multiple bridges, roads, and left communities and homes isolated, even making drinking water unsafe in many areas tonight. So our Madison Atkinson joins us live in Livingston, where a press briefing has just wrapped up. So Madison, what is the latest information on the Park County flooding situation?
Angela, water levels are still high and the wind is starting to pick up in Livingston this evening, but it was a big operational day for crews as they were able to open up roads from Gardner, which did lead to major traffic backups on 89 South. There has been evacuations and rescues happening across the county all day, including airlifts and several swift water rescues. Areas south of Livingston are affected by water and along the Yellowstone River valleys, with significant damage near Gardner.
There's been losses of several residences and housing up along the river edge, as well as undercutting in that bank. However, we were able to open the road into Gardner through Yankee Jim Canyon. The road base is still intact, which was a very positive outcome for today so far.
The towns of Cook City and Silvergate are also showing major damage with only emergency access during this time. And the Red Cross has set up shelters in Livingston and Bozeman to help families in need and those who have lost their homes during the flood. Now, if you do need help during this time, there is a public information hotline, and that number is 222-4131. And the county is looking for volunteers to help those families who have lost their homes. And if you're interested in volunteering, you could text your information to the number 211. Reporting live in Livingston, I'm Madison Atkinson, Montana Right Now.
I'm meteorologist Tracy Smith here in Red Lodge, where we're currently looking at temperatures in the 50s, mostly cloudy skies and a light breeze.
We still have winter storm warnings, flood warnings, and a high wind event. I'll track it hour by hour.
More news, weather, and sports just minutes away. You're watching Montana Right Now.